Hi again, my name is Dr. Dawn Heiman, and in this video I'm going to teach you about the success path that I created for reducing overwhelm and stress for audiologists who are in a private practice setting, could be in a hospital setting, an ENT private practice. I'm giving tools to try to help people see the big picture so that they can work on what they need to work on, so that the practice that you're in is doing as well as it can, and especially as our world is changing. Our hearing world is definitely changing, and what we need to do is be open-minded, positive, use our resources, work with each other so that we have the best opportunity to continue doing what we love, helping people hear. So I created this success path, and so as you can see, this is a success path that I created in my dining room one weekend because I knew I had a lot to share with people, but I had no idea how to do it. And I've thought of writing a book, but I thought, well, if I write a book, by the time the book is published, everything's going to change. And then I also thought, but I really like just helping people, but I don't know all the answers. I am not the most successful audiologist. I am not the best clinician. No, I'm just somebody who is actively trying stuff out, throwing spaghetti noodles at the wall, and seeing what works. And then I want to discuss with others and see what's working for them. I want to be here for those who are starting something new or have an idea, or they just bought an old practice, but they want to rejuvenate it. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because there wasn't a me 15 years ago. And sometimes reading a book doesn't help that great. And sometimes the universities have never been in our situations. And it's not fair for us to say, well, they didn't give us business classes. Well, business just keeps changing and it's evolving. And now we're dealing with online things. And marketing has changed. Marketing has changed more in the last 5 years than it has in 50 years. And we're supposed to know what to do. So what I did was, as you can see, this is from my dining room wall. This is me trying to use my crayons and my markers and figure out, okay, if I were to create a resource for audiologists, what's it going to look like and how can people use it? So if we start at the top, there's the Design It module. And I have created in a website called EntreAudiology Academy, which is a membership site, which is also paired with our mastermind groups. And on here, when you get into the website, the Design It module has videos that I've created to try to describe each step in how to design a practice. So let's think about this. Any good business started with a dream. Your dream could be to make buku bucks. Your dream could be to be a nonprofit and help people and not make a dime. Your dream could be simply to be able to see patients and have a 2-minute commute. It's a really good dream. And we need to take all that you have up in your head in your dream and write it down on paper. Because if you really want this dream to happen, you're going to need a business plan. So I've designed the Design It module to be actionable and teachable, where by the end of that module and after you've taken all the lessons and filled out all the worksheets, you have a business plan you can present to a bank or to any kind of financial person. It could be a family member that's going to give you some seed money. It could be a manufacturer that's going to help fund your dream. But in the design module, this is where it's at. The design module isn't just about the boring stuff. It's about the really cool ideas. Think about what you want your practice to look like. You could be buying a practice from someone else, or you could just move from a different area and you're in an ENT clinic and they're saying, make our office appealing. And you go, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we look at the cosmetic surgery model and we make everything white and gray and beautiful and fluffy chairs and pinks, silvers, mirrors, and we're going to have this boutique audiology department. That's your dream. Write it down. Put it on paper. with all of that, you're also going to look at your marketing, and you're going to think about who you're going to have your avatar be. Is it a woman? Is it a man? How old are they? How much money do they have? And that would be different than if you have a clinic that you want to start and it's nonprofit and it sees children. The paint alone on the walls is going to be a different color. The clientele's a different one. Your why is different. The services you provide are completely different. So I'm really passionate about this, as you can tell, and I'm so excited that I actually had some clarity about 3 months ago, and this is it. So anybody can take an old practice that they bought from someone else that's living in the 1970s and reconstruct it to look the way you want. And having a business plan is great, and you can revisit that time and time again. You can revamp it. So that's what Design It is. The next module is Start It. Now, the Start It is the fun part where you've been using play money and you've been creating things and deciding what equipment you need and here's what it's going to look like, and I think we're going to be in this kind of office building. But the Start It is, oh my gosh, this is real. This is tangible. You're ordering desks. Someone's delivering them, or you're building them. You have to get phone lines. You have to have a phone number and a place so you can order business cards that you can actually feel. You're going to make sure that all of your equipment arrives. Everything's calibrated. The office and the reception furniture is there. The colors are painted on the walls. You've chosen the carpeting. You are ready. You are going to see patients. And you need to have some systems in place. So that's part of it also. So we're making sure that everything's going and you've got the basics, and now you're advertising and people are going to start calling. The next stage is Grow It. And this is where I think most people will probably start if they don't want to reinvent their practice, everything's going well, and they just want ideas on marketing. Growing your practice is something that we continually need to do. Even the nonprofit children's hospitals market. Don't fool yourself. People just don't arrive. They have very large marketing budgets, and they are telling the story of their nonprofit and how they are changing children's lives. And they have video where there are commercials. They have audio where they're doing commercials on the radio. And they do it in a way that you don't even know they're marketing to you. They are telling the narrative, like we talked about in the last video, about their why and how this child got sick and then they were seen and then their doctors helped them. And now they're moving forward, growing up as a happy little child, and their family is so grateful to this place who had a plan and knew what to do to help their child. So good. But in the modules, in that module, in the lessons, I'm breaking it down between your traditional advertising to your online social media advertising, your website, your why, and there's milestones that you're going to meet. And this is something you'll come to time and time again, especially if times are tough and you're saying, oh my gosh, we need to try something new, or let's add something, or let's do a newsletter. And you have a place to go to reduce your overwhelm and give yourself direction. The next module is called Flourish It. And this is where you're going to make your practice bloom and grow even more. And this is where you're going to add on other services that maybe you didn't have time for before. But now that you've grown your practice, it's going at a good level, and you'd like to add a tinnitus clinic, you'd like to add a musician's clinic, you would like to start taking on hearing conservation programs or industrial audiology. Sky's the limit. If you want to reinvent something and make it better and just make your practice grow even more, this is where you're going to do it. This is where we talk about, okay, let's brainstorm, figure out your idea, write down the systems, write down your pricing, make sure you onboard your staff, and then launch. The last module is Scale It. And not everyone will go to the Scale It module. This is where you'd like to duplicate what you've done. This is where you make sure that if you were to open another location, if you were to franchise your office, you have all of the systems in place of how you did it from the beginning till now. You write down the colors of the paint on the walls. You make sure that you think of everything that you need to duplicate this practice that's doing so well. And the cool part about scaling something is the fact that you already have the infrastructure created, and you can now add some other things, invest into your company a little bit, but you'll be able to grow at a faster rate because you're now scaling, but you don't have to completely reinvent everything. That Scale It module will, however, take you back to the Design It module, because that's where you probably need to obtain some financing. You're going to need that business plan. You're going to have to tell your why. And so designing what this is going to look like, why do you feel like there's a need? How compelling of a story can you tell a banker or someone who's going to help finance this next office? This is where you're going to do it. And you can then get to the start phase again and then growing it. And you just keep going in circles. That's the really cool part about this success path, is that it's designed for audiology practices to try to give you the resources that you need in an organized fashion. We tried through the mastermind to just have a Google Docs with folders, and we're throwing in stuff there, and I was putting things in there, and it wasn't being utilized well because it wasn't organized as well as maybe it could have been. And there were no video modules and lessons that explained how to best use it. So that's why EntreAudiology Academy was designed, was just to fulfill a need where, let's be honest, if I go to an academy meeting and I am there for 2 to 3 days, and let's say I attend 10 to 40 classes, and then I get back and I try to implement things, chances are I am feeling overwhelm, amnesia, stress, and a lot of uncertainty on how to implement some of these things that I learned. I need someone to hold my hand, keep it simple, and be there for me constantly. When I'm ready, get back in. Your success path will show you where you left off last, or you can jump around. But this is something that is ongoing. This is a membership program that you can join, and like I said, it's coupled with the masterminds so that you have your small group of people and you can reflect back to this. But the actual success path is something you individually work on for you in your practice setting. And your masterminds, you're coming up with ideas and you're trying to innovate and talk about the latest problems that are happening in the world right now or in one particular mastermind member's practice. You are being held accountable, and it's all something that is designed on purpose to help any audiologist and also their support staff, which we've created groups just for support staff so that everybody knows the big picture. And it's just a template to allow you to have focus so that your offices can flourish, so that you are changing as you need as the industry is changing, so that you're best prepared when something happens. And if something happens, you have your closed Facebook group with those people that are in your small mastermind group where you can go to them and ask them questions. Right away, you can say, I'm having a really bad day. And 8 to 10 people are going, oh my gosh, what can we do? Oh, I had that last week. It's going to be fine tomorrow. You're going to be okay. Or, hey, I have something for you. Here's something that I created stemming off of the newsletter. Or I think you should talk to this person. Having support, having our people, having resources, and also having a simplified, non-stress direction and success path, I believe is the way to go. I've said it before and I will say it again. I created all of this because it's self-serving. This is what I needed. And I am the typical audiologist who doesn't have all the answers. I am asking my mastermind members questions. They are giving me support. I'm giving them support. My whole role here is just to try to enable our profession to do the best it can to not only survive, but to innovate and to not feel like we just want to quit because we're overwhelmed and it's not worth it. We don't need to be inventing all these wheels that are identical or slightly different. The point of a mastermind, by the way, is I have a mind and I have a problem and I'm going to work on it. And my friend over here has a mind and they have a problem and they're working on it. And we look over and we're like, wow, we have the same problem. If we put our two minds together, we create a third mind, the mastermind. And that's where the good stuff happens. That's where if you get 8 people together on a Zoom call from all over the country that are not competing with each other, that are only there to support each other, that's when the magic happens. That's when we're elevating each other's practices and we're keeping each other accountable and we're keeping focused and we're optimistic and we're doing the best we can. So we don't have the overwhelm and the stress that we could. So I'll see you in the 4th module of this masterclass, where I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of how you can do your best too and why you might want to join. I'm not a person that likes to talk about myself, and I know a lot of people are saying, yeah, right, this is so outside my comfort zone, but I have so much passion about it. And if you could feel my palms right now, they are so sweaty because I don't like talking about this, and I'm on the verge of tears thinking, oh my gosh, like, who am I to ask people to pay for a program like this? And I'm going to get into it in the next video, but I want you to know that this is something that I know our profession needs. But like I told my husband, if I don't try, I don't know. And so my family has been watching me put like Sunday afternoons on hold while I'm creating videos like this. And I'm nuts, honestly. I am probably divulging way too much right now, but I know why I'm doing this. My why is you. My why are my fellow audiologists and the students. That it just tears me apart, and knowing that they have all these student loans and they're wondering if they made a good decision. Will our profession even be around because Bose is coming in and Costco's undercutting us? This is something we need to try. And maybe it's a bad idea, but here I am. So I'll see you in the next video where I explain more about this and how you could sign up if you wanted to. Thanks for listening. Bye.